we go. We got the Shimano bottom bracket in there. Look at those cranks spinning around. Wow. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're just out in the garage and we're looking at the Mongoose Ledge X2 bicycle that has a Bafang G900 750 watt rear hub motor, the Flipski 75100 Pro V2 controller. And what we're going to do today is we are going to put a different bottom bracket in this bubby, because this is a Walmart bike. I got it for $185 on sale or something. So it was a bike that was normally like $500 or $600, a mountain bike from Walmart, and we got it super cheap, but it has some super cheap components on it that we're gonna have to upgrade as we go along here. And so one of the first things that I upgraded was the rear suspension, because this thing came with a it came with like this coil thing that was super squeaky and stuff. So the next thing I'm gonna replace is we're gonna get a different bottom bracket in this thing. And so the reason that I'm gonna upgrade the bottom bracket is, like, this is a very old school bottom bracket where it's got kind of like two cups that go into each side of the bottom bracket shell. So there's like one that screws into the bottom bracket shell on this side of the bike, like where the crank is attached, and then there's one over on the opposite side, like where your crank set and everything goes. So first thing, and then so here's the bottom bracket that I'm going to use here. So this, you got to make sure that your bottom bracket fits the size of your bottom bracket shell. So I've got a 68 millimeter bottom bracket, you can see right here. So this is a Shimano BB UN 300. And so it's a 68 millimeter size, and then this is 113. I don't know what that is. Hopefully this is what I need. This is what I bought. And so you want to make sure that the first thing is that 68 millimeters, like, you want to make sure that it fits your bike. So if I measure like the size of the bottom bracket shell here, and I'm not going to be able to get a great view of this, but I'm just kind of measuring right here from one side of the bottom bracket shell to the other. And it seems like it says 66.26 or something. So I would say that this is closer to, it's probably 68, and I just kind of like eyeballed it there and measured it at a little bit of a funny angle. But yeah. So some bikes are 68, some are 73, and then if you have like a fat bike or something, then those are usually bigger, like 100 millimeters bottom bracket shell, or like 100, 120 is like the biggest fat tire ones. So you want to make sure that your bottom bracket that you buy is going to fit your bike. And then so before we can even put that on there, we got to get these existing crank arms off of here. So I'm going to take an 8 mil Allen, and we're going to loosen these crank bolts. Oh, loosen those crank bolts off there. And so I have this, I'm working on a script, a software, like a script pipeline, where it's going to detect when I'm not talking in my videos, and then it's going to automatically edit things out. So I'm going to use that script to help me edit this video. We'll have to see how that works. My strategy is I'm just going to kind of keep talking while I want the thing to be filming. And then hopefully we can use my script and it'll help me edit videos faster, and I can make more videos, and everybody's going to be happy. I'm just now remembering that the crank arms that came on this bike were really questionable. Like the threads inside of here for pulling these things. So let's see, let's pull this crank off with the crank puller, the Park Tools CCP 22. Ooh. Alright, so I took the crank arm off of the opposite side. Man, this is like a really cheap chainring. I've only used this, like, this is a hub motor, and this is just me pedaling. It seems like it's already getting kind of worn here, bud. Wow. I did go mountain biking with it, but man, So we got to get a different chainring because this thing is wacky, dude. All right, let's keep going. So we've got our bottom bracket with the cranks off of it, and now we can get started here. So you can see the bottom bracket right here, and it's got like, so on the non-drive side, you usually screw this thing on, right? And then on the drive side, I think it's a little bit funny. I'm gonna have to go look this up again to remember which way we gotta like loosen everything, but. All right guys, so I'm using the AI. So on the non-drive side, it usually has a standard right-hand threading. So we're just gonna wanna loosen it up. And it's this wacky tool. It's got like these splines in this thing, and I don't even think I have the proper tool to be doing this with. I'm just gonna use this thing to loosen it off of here. Oh, it wasn't even very tight on there, bud. Wow. That could have been part of the problem. So I'm loosening this lock nut on the non-drive side. Okay. And then there's this other part. And we got to use this other tool like this to get this one out of here. So let's see how good this is in there. And that wasn't in there very tight either. It just kind of like loosey-gooseyed out of there very easily. So I guess when I put this thing together, didn't tighten it on there very good. It could potentially be part of why it felt so funny. I guess we're just loosening that off of there, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Some bearings. So it does seem like those bearings are still intact. I thought I blew this thing out or something was wrong with it, but I don't know. We'll have to look at the other side. It could have just been loose. Like, there's this crazy, and then I also think that my pedal, like there's this crazy noise that was happening, and I think it was my pedal, like the bearing inside of my pedal, something happened to it. So now we can just take this off this opposite side. Let's see here, can we get that bearing as well? Okay, so then this is what this looks like. We're kind of reconstructing it here. Now we just got to get that other thing off of the drive side. And this is the drive side is where it tightens on in a funny direction. Okay? So the drive side, it's reverse threading. So it's gonna feel like we're tightening it to the right clockwise, but we're actually gonna be loosening it. And I'm actually just gonna sit right here, and we're kind of like backwards right now. So if I sit right here on the opposite side of this, what tool do we need to get this off of here? Oh yeah, the big breaker bar. So I'm gonna put this tool over on this opposite side, get it going in here. And then I'm gonna twist it clockwise, reverse, kind of like righty loosen. Let's see here. Can I get it in the splines? Okay, so oh, this is the side that I tightened on there really good, I remember. So this could be a pain in the ass. Not too bad. Just had to stand up and then put some weight onto that breaker bar. Now I'm rightening to loosen on that opposite side. Okay, so then that's coming out nicely. Okay, so we got the bottom bracket out. Here's what it looks like. It's just got the spindle, the square taper spindle, and then it's got, you know, like a caged bearing on each side. And then there's it's like a, kind of like a cup and cone type thing. And it looks like I put this bearing on here backwards, but it doesn't matter because we're not gonna use this again right now. Okay. Alright guys, so I cleaned out the bottom bracket shell with a rag or something, and then I've got this anti-seize compound that I'm gonna put into the threads of my bottom bracket shell, because all this, the bottom bracket, is something that you just like tighten on there once, and you tighten it on there pretty tight, and then you leave it on there for a long time, and it has a tendency to get like seized up, and you don't want your threads, like you don't want to get all like rusty in here and like get the threads all goofed up and stuff. So it's just a good idea to get anti-seize going in here. All right, so here comes the Shimano, the BB UN 300. Unboxing it. It's coming out. It looks a lot more shiny than that other one. And it's also like simpler. It's more simple. Right, so here it is. It looks like a finely crafted bicycle component here, guys. Like, even though this thing is like $10 or $12, so this is Shimano. It's made in Indonesia. I appreciate how it shows you that the left is on this side and the right is on the other side. And then so it seems like we're going to put this side in first over on the non-drive side. And then we'll take this guy over onto the drive side and get that in there. And then it's got sealed bearings in there. What does the bearing say? It says 6903RS. Alright, so what we're gonna do is get this going on to this side. So does this thing come with a lock ring? Let's see here. We got some instructions here too that we can look at for the Shimano. What do they say? It says Shimano will be going green with digital users manuals. Open and brave. We're going to si-shimano.com. It's so funny. They print out a piece of paper to say that they're going green. User's manual. So where's the manual? What's going on here? So this is the. Where's the PDF? Here we go. So we have an important notice, important safety information. So it says, use a neutral detergent. Doesn't say anything. Like, it does not give you any instructions whatsoever. But we know how to do this already. So we just take this piece, and it's, oh, I like how it says tighten. I like it says this is the left side, and you tighten it this way. I like that. How they help you out with that. So we're just gonna get this thing tightening into the bottom bracket threads, I think. Ooh. Let's make sure we're going into threads properly here. Right? Let's see. It's getting kind of tight there. Get our tool and see. Is this gonna be difficult to secure on here? Seems like it's going on there. Started threading in this non-drive side. I'm gonna take this guy and then put this guy over on the drive side. And then on the drive side, that's where it actually threads in reverse thread. So you gotta tighten this kind of like counter, like loosey. It's righty loosey on that side. So we're gonna go, oh, we got the drive side tightened on there pretty good. I'm just gonna keep tightening on this non-drive side. And so on the drive side, it can kind of like only tighten on there so far. And then this one is the one where you just like, let's see here. So this one is the normal threading. This, for some reason, this side is more difficult to twist than that other side, and it wasn't cross threaded, so I don't know what's going on exactly, but let's see. So I think we might, let's see here, we might need that little, this little like locking, this nut thing from the other one. I think is the idea here. So I'm just gonna keep tightening this on. Like on this side, we wanna keep tightening this on until all this blue stuff gets in there probably. I think that maybe that's some kind of like thread locker, or I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna keep going with it until we get that blue stuff threaded into the bottom bracket shell. It's difficult to get this threading on there first. All right. Just gonna use this goofy tool, and it's hopefully gonna help me twist this thing on there all the way and seal the deal here. Let's see. So it's scratching the bike. This lock ring, that's what like really holds it in there. So we do wanna torque this down pretty good. Oh. So I think now that we've tightened all this stuff on there, our bottom bracket should be good to go. And we can get our crank arms back on here. Our square taper crank arms that aren't, it's not looking square anymore, but whatever. Here we go, let's get a little bit of grease in here in these bubs. Here we go. We got the Shimano bottom bracket in there. Look at those cranks spinning around. Wow. That's so much better than this piece of junk that came with the bike. It's all falling apart and the bearings are falling all over, and what a joke, boys. What a piece of garbage. But now we got the Shimano BB UN 300 bottom bracket installed. It's gonna get my chain back on there and we're gonna be good to go. So this is a good upgrade if you got a Walmart bike that came with a janky bottom bracket. You just spend like $10, $15, get one of these, pop it in there with a few different tools, crank puller, bottom bracket, removal tool, and you're good to go. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What kind of bottom bracket, what kind of crankset do you use on your bike? Let me know. Thanks for watching. It's just a rainy day, so I'm gonna be riding my bike tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Like and subscribe. See you next time.